Hey guys, this is Cycle 2, Week 11, and this is kind of a repeat of what we did with the big inflatable balls and the proportional solar system model. But this is going to be on a piece of paper and kind of like a little project that the kids can take home. And we're going to do some things to make it kind of fun. So once they get home, it won't just be something to throw away. It might be something, kind of fun that they can look at. So anyway, the instructions for this are at the bottom of page 193 in your foundations guide. This little chart at the bottom is going to be the most helpful. It says how to build a proportional solar system inside. So in case you were tempted to do this project outside, that is apparently a no-no. This is an inside project, and we are going to do it inside. So what I have is I'm going to walk you through the materials and stuff that you guys will have, and then I'll walk you through how to put it together. So the first thing you're going to have for each student, and I'll put some extras in there, one for you to do at home if you want to practice. And depending on how many materials I have, I might be able to give you guys a couple extra too, just in case you mess up or want to try again or whatever. But you're going to have, basically this is one black piece of construction paper that has been cut in half, and we're going to glue them side by side so that we end up with one big long black strip of paper. When I glued mine together, I only overlapped them about 3/4 of an inch. You can probably overlap them 2 to 3 inches. I ended up at the end with this big empty space way back here past Neptune. And so I wish I had put mine a little bit, overlapped mine a little bit more. I think as long as you don't, do them like in half, you should have plenty of space to do everything that we need to do. And so you guys will each have some glue sticks. I think I've said this before, but the Scholastic glue stick is awesome. It is my favorite glue stick because it actually works and it dries really fast. So I'm not getting paid by Scholastic, in case you were wondering, but it is my favorite glue stick. So I'll have some of those for you guys, and then you'll make one big strip. You could do a couple different things. You could wait for that to dry, and while you're waiting, you can take this yellow strip that I'm going to give you, and have the kids cut it into like an oval, or decorate it to be the sun. I didn't decorate mine, but I did label it, so maybe while the glue is drying, there's those few seconds you can give them a little bit of time to make their sun fancy. But then the sun is going to be glued just on the edge of that black piece of paper. So this is kind of what it will look like when you're done. I will have one of these white labels. So if you don't want to write sun, or the kids don't want to decorate it, they can still have a label to label that is actually the sun. So you've got your paper, you've got your glue stick. Then the next thing that you need are one each of all these different colored beads that Lighthouse has given to us. Each one is a different color for the different planets, different sizes that are relatively proportional to what they are in real life. And I tried several different ways to stick these on, and actually what worked the best for me, dried the quickest, and was also kind of cool. I used this glow-in-the-dark fabric paint, and it, like I said, it dried really fast, and I just put about a half, like however big my bead was, I put about half that amount of fabric paint and then pressed the bead on top of it. And it stuck almost immediately. And then it dried really fast too. Plus, now that it's done, I don't know if you can really see that, but around the edges of all my planets, I have this nice little glow-in-the-dark ring. So that might be kind of fun for the kids when they get home to go in the closet or turn off all the lights and see the rings around all the different planets. So the glow-in-the-dark fabric paint is to adhere your beads to this black sheet of paper. Now, the other issue that I ran into a little bit is that the chart on the bottom of page 193 gives measurements in 1/5 of an inch, 1/3 of an inch, 4/5 of an inch, and that's not really conducive to using a ruler, especially with the younger kids. So I did go in mine, and I'll make a copy for you guys, and just converted it a little bit to, like, instead of 4/8 of an or 4/5 of an inch, I did 13/16. And I did that for all of them. And hopefully that'll make it a little bit easier. If you have older kids and they're going to be using their own rulers to do this, then that'll make it a little bit easier. Another suggestion, even if you have the older kids, if you don't want to take the time to have them measure it out, you could just take a pencil and mark, a little dot or a little X, measure it ahead of time, and just mark out for them, hey, this is how far from the sun each one of your planets is supposed to be. And then all they have to do is dab of fabric paint, put the bead on, and then let it dry. So that might be an idea, especially for the younger kids, or if you know that you don't have very many parent helpers in your class, that might be a good option for you as well. So measuring out the beads, getting them marked on your piece of paper. The other thing that they have us, or that they say, is to do a star glitter in an arch. I don't like glitter. I don't like the mess. I feel bad for the people that have to clean up after the mess that would be made if we did glue and glitter. So I got glitter glue. And this actually looks pretty good. Mine is a mix of blue, black, and clear. And I just put different size dots, kind of in an arch between Mars and Jupiter. And the only thing about that is it doesn't dry as quickly. So you want to make sure that you give the instructions to your kiddos to use just a little bit, not, big, sweeping, huge masses of glitter glue. First of all, because it won't dry very quickly, but second of all, because and this might be a good talking point, is that asteroid belt isn't a solid thing. It's just a bunch of teeny tiny little particles of rock and dust and things that have collected into the orbit around the sun at that point in space. So little bitty dots and lots of them is much better than just big, huge squirts of glitter glue everywhere. But I'll have different colors, and they can choose the different colors if they like and make it, whatever they think that asteroid belt might look like. And then I'll also have these little labels printed that have all the different names of the planets. There's one for the asteroid belt, and I do have one for the sun. I didn't put mine on there because I had written mine on there, but it'll be there. Also, I think I'm going to make the labels, the words, a little bit bigger. If we're using, the whole label, the letters might as well be big enough to fill up the label. So I'll go in and make those a little bit bigger before I print them and give them to you guys at our tutor meeting. But that is cycle 2, week 11. I did not do a video for cycle 2, week 10. We can talk more about this at our tutor meeting, but that is facility cleanup day. And I think we have identified a flower bed at our church that needs a little TLC. So we're going to pull some resources and lock arms and put in some elbow grease to try to make that little section of the church just look a little nicer. Maybe hopefully be a blessing to our church and to the church community. And then for week 12, I'm also not going to do a video, but I will send you a YouTube video link for the DIY planetarium that we're going to do that week. I am so excited about this. I think the kids are really, really going to have a good time, and I really hope it's going to be something memorable for them. But basically what we're going to be doing is my husband and Nancy Amison, one of our essentials tutors, and I are going to put together this massive planetarium, and it's basically made out of plastic sheeting, like a trash bag. But it's kind of a contraption that's set up so that 2 of our classes could get inside of it at once, and we'll have flashlights, and the kids will all have sheets of paper that have different constellations on them. And just kind of depending on how detailed or how much info you want to go into with your class, you can either have them color them or have them draw them or create them somehow. In years past, I've done create your own constellation out of your name or, something like that. And I can give you guys instructions for those if you're interested. But basically what they'll do is each child will have a constellation sheet. And once they get inside this plastic sheeting, they'll hold the sheet up to the plastic, and then they'll use a straight pin or, something like that to poke a hole where their stars and their constellation should be. And then once everybody's had a chance to do that, we'll turn off the lights and the lights from the flashlights and the lights in the building on the outside of the planetarium that shine in through the holes that they've made. Hopefully will help them be able to identify their constellations just as the light is coming in from where those stars would be. So that's going to be week 12. Again, I hope it's going to be really, really fun and memorable for the kiddos, but it'll be almost no preparation for you guys. The thing I'll ask you to think about ahead of time is how you want to handle the constellations with your class. But that will kind of be the gist of week 12. So that is cycle 2, weeks 10, 11, and 12. And that will be our last week before Christmas break.